You're watching Fox 10 Phoenix now.
Let's get right into our top stories this morning. A shooting investigation taking place overnight. This is in the West Valley. Phoenix police say 2 men were found shot in the area of 43rd Avenue and Thunderbird Road last night. That's near the ASU West campus. Both victims had injuries described as serious, but they are both expected to survive. Several people were detained by police, but we don't have any details on what led up to the shooting at this time. Well, a Good Samaritan jumping into action to rescue a Valley mom and her 4 kids from their car, which was actually sinking in a canal at the time.
Imagine the scenario. I mean, it can be so dangerous and that water is so cold, but one person did jump in. Fox 10 spoke to her, Danielle Miller, live with that story. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning. Yeah, and that woman, her name is Destina Trevino. She says that all of this happened as she was taking her garbage out. She heard a very loud boom, and that's when she saw that car in the canal. She didn't think twice before just going and helping, jumping in to help whoever was in the water there. So all of this happened. It happened yesterday. It was right near 93rd Avenue and McDowell, and Trevino says her first instinct was to jump in. A mother and her 4 young children were inside that car with water starting to pour in. Trevino and another man swam out to help save them, and Trevino says that it was difficult to fight the current of the canal, but she's grateful to have been in the right place at the right time.
To have kids that are in shock all over you and you're trying to keep yourself calm and collective so you can save them, it was just so, I don't even have the words.
And first responders arrived to finish helping everybody safely get out of the water there. We're told that none of the family members inside of that car suffered any type of injuries. As far as how the car got into the canal in the first place, all of that is still under investigation. We'll send it back to you guys.
Definitely a hero. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate it. A parent speaking out this morning after the Valley School District decision to close 5 schools.
Yeah, Roosevelt School Board final decision and meeting was held last night, and after several hours, the board members voted for the proposal to close those schools. 5 schools within the Roosevelt School District will close down. That includes Maxine O. Bush Elementary School, C.J. Jorgensen Academy of Service Learning, Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, V.H. Lawson Academy of Science and Nutrition, and John R. Davis Elementary School. This comes after the district says a $5 million budget deficit was created by years of declining enrollment. Families have mixed reaction, as you can imagine.
I think the decision was a very drastic decision without solutions in place. And so my real concern is how our families are going to respond to this vote.
In the last 2 years, it's come from a D school up to a B school. So we're making progress. And so with them closing this as downgrading and make them into one, it will help the school better.
The district says that teachers will not lose their jobs. They will be moved to other schools, but it's not clear what will happen to administrators.
An update this morning on that brief lockdown that took place at Mesa Community College. This is yesterday afternoon, and it followed a crash near Dobson Road and Southern Avenue. So police say a man and woman got into some type of argument. Woman got into a car with another man, and then the suspect chased them down the freeway, causing the woman to crash that vehicle. Suspect reportedly then assaulted the two and ran off. So the campus was put on lockdown as a precaution. We don't believe that suspect has been taken into custody just yet.
An East Valley man speaking to Fox 10 about the death of his wife over the summer when she was swept away by flash flooding as they hiked in Havasupai Falls.
Quite the story here. Andrew Nickerson paying tribute to his wife. He said she loved the performing arts, so he started the Good Legacy Fund. Proceeds from the fund will go towards a performing arts and vocal program at Christ Greenfield School. That is where her stepdaughters attend class.
Her favorite thing to do with the girls was take them to Hill Theater, see performances. She came here to the school a couple of times with Avery as, you know, some mommy-daughter dates, and just made some great memories together.
So one of the long-term goals of the See the Good Legacy Fund is to have a practice room built and named after his wife on school grounds. We have a link to the fund's GoFundMe page on our website, fox10phoenix.com.
All right, an all-out manhunt continues in New York City for the suspect who gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
And we are now getting a closer look at that suspect's face. Ron, more and more information seems to be coming out.
And you guys, we have a new clue today. We're learning investigators believe that the killer may have traveled to New York last month on a bus from Atlanta. Investigators believe that the suspect lowered his mask in this picture, that's why you can see his face so clearly, by a clerk at an Upper West Side hostel. And then he appeared to flirt with her, all of this in the hours before the shooting. He also reportedly used a fake New Jersey driver's license to check in. Where did he get that? They also believe that he was caught on camera at a Starbucks store minutes before the shooting. Police do say they found a used water bottle that he had bought, so they're hopeful that they can get some fingerprints or DNA off of that. They also recovered some key evidence from the scene, including shell casings, as you have heard, with the words engraved on them: deny, defend, and depose. And another possible clue with that, there is a book, it turns out, with a similar title, and it happens to be about insurance companies avoiding paying claims.
What I would say is somebody with a familiarity with guns, and particularly this gun, looks to be a rare type of gun, and that's a data point that the police can chase down.
Wanted posters are flooding the streets of New York with the images. Police are considering this, as we've told you, a targeted attack. But it's still not clear what the motive would be, and it's still not clear what the name of the suspect would be at this point, or if NYPD has it, they're not releasing it yet. So there are reports that Brian Thompson had received threats in the past. Wall Street Journal had reported that his wife, from whom he was separated for the last several years, had said that he had mentioned he had been receiving threats. And as it turns out, police back in Minnesota say there was a hoax of a bomb threat called into his home in Minnesota after the killing happened.
Ron, this is just such a wild story, and we keep getting these little drips of information that just makes it even kind of a crazier story every morning.
Yeah,
so many questions, especially about motive.
And now you wonder about this Atlanta connection, and will the search expand to that area as well?
Yeah, most likely.
Ron, thank you. Well, on the heels of this, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield is backing off its plan to limit anesthesia coverage if a procedure went beyond a certain time limit. The major health insurer has decided not to proceed with the policy, which was quietly announced last month. And basically, they said they would only pay for a certain amount of time for anesthesia, and then it would come out of the patient's pocket.
President Biden may be considering a whole new slew of pardons for a number of public officials and his allies.
Now, this would be a preemptive move to shield them from possible prosecution as the second Trump administration continues to take shape. Both Politico and the Associated Press report that Biden and his team are just talking right now about issuing broad pardons to a number of administration officials and supporters. Those include Dr. Anthony Fauci, former Republican Representative Liv Cheney, and Senator-elect Adam Schiff. The pardon would be extraordinary, broadly worded to cover any potential federal crime in recent years, similar to the pardon just given to the president's son, Hunter. Well, happening now, Tempe Festival of the Arts is back.
Now, this is a good one. One of the oldest festivals in the Southwest. Guests can enjoy artists from around the country, local music, food, and even more. It's all located in the streets of historic Mill Avenue. So it'll run from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. today and tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Sunday. There are several road closures and restrictions in that area. And for a full list of detours in place, you can head over to fox10phoenix.com.
All right, switching gears, it's a battle for the Big 12 title. The Arizona State Sun Devils taking on Iowa State tomorrow. The Dr. Pepper Championship game is set for 10 a.m. Arizona time at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Fox 10's Richard Sines will be live in Texas ahead of that big game tomorrow morning.
This morning, we could learn whether Lori Vallow's Arizona trial will be taking place next February.
And we could also be learning if the so-called Doomsday Mom will be representing herself in court. So during yesterday's morning's Rule 11 hearing, the judge confirmed both court-appointed doctors evaluated Vallow, and she has been deemed mentally fit to stand trial. Vallow is accused of conspiring in the fatal shooting of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow, and the attempted murder of her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Bordeaux. Both shootings happened in 2019. Vallow is serving a life sentence in Idaho for the murders of her two children.
A man convicted of the stabbing death of his very own aunt when he was just 14 years old has been sentenced to 13 years in prison. Heiress Adele slit 42-year-old Tanya Harper's throat while she slept in her Chandler home. This was back in 2019. So he initially could have received a sentence of 25 years, but the judge showed leniency, citing poor mental health and his young age. New details this morning on the men accused of assaulting former Arizona Coyotes player Paul Bissonnette happened at a Scottsdale restaurant.
Yeah, the city attorney is dropping misdemeanor charges against 3 of those suspects, and they are referring those 3 cases to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for further review. Now, this could result in Danny Bradley, Henry Mesker, and John Carroll being charged with more serious counts. So far, one suspect in the Scottsdale case has been charged with the felony. Sean Daly lives in Texas, and a judge told him he must appear in person at his next court date in Phoenix next week. Researchers from Indiana State University see people who use emojis in texts tend to have higher emotional intelligence. They say fewer emoji use with friends and significant others is linked to avoidant attachment, a personality type that often involves prioritizing independence over emotional intimacy.
We both use a lot of emojis.
That means we're very intelligent.
Very highly,
highly
intelligent.
I don't even use words these days.
Just that's how we communicate. More people in their 20s are wearing suits and ties to work nowadays, creating a comeback for the necktie. Was it ever out of style?
Well, I feel like during COVID, nobody was wearing suits.
Athleisure wear they were wearing, yes. Okay, so business casual has been the dominant look in most workplaces for years now. Some members of Gen Z say ties project gravitas. You have gravitas.
Thank you.
And can also show some personality. After tumbling during the pandemic, necktie imports began rising again in 2022. I love that there are so many fun patterns and fabrics to choose from. You can really change things up.
Yeah, you can.
With a simple necktie.
Wow, this brought to you by the Necktie
Association by Anita.
All right, if you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift, a necktie, no, just kidding.
No,
you may just need to open your wallet. According to a new Lending Tree survey, 49% of people are hoping to get cash.
Cash is king.
Hard, cold cash as a present this holiday season, especially Gen Z and millennials. And it's not just to buy themselves what they want. Many said they'd invest or pay down debt with a gift of cash.